Hello, welcome to DPSing Feng the Accursed as a hunter in MSV normal. So there's two ways of doing this. One way is you stack with melee, the other way is you stack out in range. For whatever reason, our raid decided to have everyone stack with melee. But if you're out in range, you just need to make sure you're stacked with range for the first part. If you're in melee, you just need to make sure you're stacked with melee. Basically what he does in this first part is he will cast what's called epicenter, and when he casts that, you won't be able to do, you'll have like a reduced hit chance by like 90% or something. So probably save cooldowns and all that other stuff till after epicenter goes off, so that you're not wasting various cooldowns. Yeah, for melee, if you're stacked in melee, make sure you're inside that barrier. And that's pretty much all you gotta really look out for on this first part. See, he's casting epicenter again, so you just kind of be stacked with melee so that they can do various heals and all that junk. Once he transitions, you can either be stacked out in range or stacked in melee again to the for the next transition. And basically what he'll do for that one is he'll cast Wild Spark on a random player, and that player needs to run out of the raid and let it drop outside of the raid. And there will be like a little snaky fiery area at that point. So obviously you don't want it to drop it in the middle of the raid because that would be bad. The other thing you want to do is make sure generally you drop it around the same area as the rest of the fires that have already been dropped. That way you only have the fires coming. He does what it's called draw flames. You can see him doing it now, and basically he takes the flames and draws all of it towards them. So if you are in between the boss and the flames, the flames will hit you, so that's bad. So try to avoid being in between a boss and the flames when he does draw flames. Also, when he does draw flames, he'll like bring all this stuff to him and get a very high, get like 13 stacks of it or however many stacks, and start doing AoE fire damage to everyone. So you can see he's got like 18 stacks or so right now, so he's just going to start doing massive AoE fire damage. There's really nothing you can do to avoid that. You just have to heal through it. But your only job at this point is to be stacked with everyone else, or at your designated stack point, and make sure you're dropping the fire out of the raid. When he transitions to this point, things get a bit more interesting. Hopefully you don't have any more stacks on him, which we did. Basically at this point, he'll cast Arcane Volley and Arcane Resonance. If you get Arcane Resonance on yourself, go ahead and Deterrence. Well, don't Deterrence immediately, but if he starts casting Arcane Volley while you have Arcane Resonance on yourself, you can go ahead and Deterrence while you're out there to avoid taking damage. And if you get that on you, you need to make sure that you're not in the raid at all, because it does damage to everyone around you. When he does Arcane Volley, make sure you stack unless you've got that big circle purple around you. So unless you've got the debuff, when he does Arcane Volley, make sure you stack for that. But that's pretty much it for this phase. You just, if you get, when he does Arcane Volley, stack. When he does Arcane Resonance, make sure you get out of the raid ASAP. And that's pretty much it for this fight. He's actually going to cast Arcane Resonance on me here. I'm like, woo! So, alright, so I hope you found this guide helpful, and thanks for watching. You can see I'm doing damage